are back to movie reviews by Dr. B
and Mrs. B.
I'm an anthropologist and she's
I'm an independent artist scholar.
That's right, and we've been married for 33 years. Oh my gosh. And we have three
children.
Three adults. Oh, and we're also all about edutainment. There you go.
Of this.
And this is a special, Mrs. B, this is a special, special tribute to Ava Gardner. Ava Gardner.
Of beauty. Ava Gardner. Such talent.
And Mel Brooks.
Comedic genius Mel Brooks.
There you go. Yeah, we got a special. This is going to be a two-part special tribute. So this is season number 2, episode 2. We're going to have episode 2 and episode 3 specially for Ava Gardner.
Ava Gardner.
And Mel
Brooks.
Comedy, director, all that and more. So, yes. Mrs. B, my gosh, we had such a great time on episode 1 of season 2. What did you think about episode 1? We were just, wow.
Well, it has been quite a journey.
Yeah.
We did the previous episode, and we were surprised at the reaction. We want to thank the viewers for viewing.
Yes.
GPAT TV, local TV, Greenville Television, County,
North
Carolina. Thank you.
Very much. We're on the schedule. Shows.
Wow. Thank you very much for the podcasting, and we were really having a really good time. And we do have a lot of fun.
This is all about. Let's just remind our folks.
Relax.
This is all about fun. Relaxation.
Still some summertime before school or work.
It's still summertime and we're going to be
going on.
That's right, Mrs. B.
Yes.
And so this is where we just try to have so much fun in our shows, and we don't know exactly where it's going to go, but we want to give you a lot of entertainment.
But we'll guide you.
Yeah. And one of the things after episode 1, guess what? Guess what? What Mrs. B and I did? We went on a field trip. We went on an
edutainment field trip.
And where did we go, Mrs. B?
The Ava Gardner Museum in Smithville, North Carolina.
There you go.
And we really enjoyed ourselves, and even had lunch.
We had, oh my gosh. And let me just say, the reason why I'm bringing it up is that we had a great time in July, they had a great museum display, and I just want to give a quick shout out to Miss Sarah Owens for providing a great guided tour. So bravo for Miss Sarah Owens for providing us a great tour at the Ava Gardner Museum.
Thank you, Miss Owens, and thank you, the manager and director of the Ava Gardner Museum.
Very much so. So with that said, now let's go into
and their sponsors.
Oh yes, they have a lot of local sponsors too. So let me give the overview of Ava Gardner, just in case our audience is not familiar with Ava Gardner. And again, she's homegrown, and so let me give you a quick backdrop, and Mrs. B will do her insightful analysis of Ava Gardner and the movies that we saw. So here we go. Ava Gardner spent her first 5 years in Hollywood playing small, often uncredited roles. Her career took off when MGM loaned her out to Universal Studios for an adaptation of Ernest Hemingway's The Killers, 1946. Ava casting as the quintessential femme fatale, Kitty Collins, would elevate her to leading lady status. At the beginning of the 1950s, Ava was poised for some of her most celebrated film roles. In 1951, alone, she starred in the melodrama My Forbidden Past, the romance Pandora and the Flying Dutchman, and the musical show Showboat. The musical Showboat. Later, she would appear in such acclaimed films as Macombo, 1953, The Barefoot Contessa, 1954. On the Beach, 1959. And The Night of the Iguana, 1964. Over the course of her five-decade career, Ava would star in over 60 productions and become an international film icon. Wow.
Yes, that is Ava Gardner,
There
ladies
you
and
go.
gentlemen.
I was just, wow, the visit and just learning about Ava. And again, I'm not an expert in among various film stars, but when we got there, I was just blown away. So go ahead, Miss.
Oh, wow.
Go ahead, Miss B.
All right.
Give us a lesson on Ava.
Well, I'll give you my analysis and my review, and just wonderful viewing Ava Gardner's films from fine arts point of perspective. All right, let's get going, folks. Have you here? Well, I want to say, first I want to start off with Ava Gardner Museum as a special tribute in Smithfield, North Carolina. We had a wonderful visit, and I'm going to read you a little bit of some of the information from my notes. But I'm also going to talk about her bio. Dr. B did talk about her early life, but I'm going to talk about Ava's life as she started out in North Carolina. And this is where I bought the shirt and the t-shirt from the Ava Gardner Museum.
That was a great, that was great.
Thank you, Dr.
Yeah. I said, what is she going to purchase over there? And she just bought the right thing.
Yeah, about the right thing. And so you can visit Ava's museum at the Gardner Museum in Smithfield, North Carolina. And as far as
and it only took us less than an hour away from where we're at.
It was only an hour away. You know, we have been driving back and forth down the road, going to other places, mostly just drop, the college students that we have on to their colleges, and then coming back and going back and forth for work or trips or conferences. But we went to see Ava and we said, we're going to get there. We promised we were going to get there. And we did. And we had been seeing it online in different places and visiting the whole time in terms of the films and fine arts. But actually to spend some time there was a pure joy.
It was.
Really was. All right. Well, you also can visit the Ava Gardner Museum. And you can go to the link online. I'll just give you a quick link. I'll say it, but you can search it. It's the you go https www.johnsoncounty.nc.org/Ava-Gardner AVAS-life-AVAS bio. So that's normally I don't give links, you could search that, but I wanted to make sure that you go to the correct link.
The correct link.
And the bookstore too. And,
it was
there's
nice.
a store at the store at the Ava Gardner Museum.
Great. It was an entire book, area on Ava Gardner.
Oh, entire book on Ava Gardner. And and they have a museum. So I'm going to get to that in a minute. So let's start off.
Okay.
Let's get going. So come on, let's go.
Let's go.
All right. So we first film that we did review was the 7 Days in May. Wow, what a fantastic film. We really enjoyed it. And this is the DVD,
there you go.
the Blu-ray to it.
I'll hold it up for you.
You see that? So it's 7 Days in May. Wow, what a film. You have to see this film. I guarantee you will not be disappointed. It's classic, it's vintage, and it's contemporary of today's time. And I'm just going to give you a quick, you want to get this.
Featuring Kirk Douglas and who else? Kirk Douglas and who else?
There's
Burt Lancaster.
Burt Lancaster, and I'm just about to get to that.
Oh.
So
Sorry, Miss B.
You're fine.
I'm too excited.
Yeah, I'm excited too. So let's give you a little bit of a synopsis. 7 Days in May is a stunning and suspenseful, and a political thriller that collides with today's January 6th insurrection that didn't happen of the U.S. Capitol and the January 6th Hearings Committee. Think about that for a minute and let that sink in. This is why you have to watch that film. All right. Well, I had to put that there. 7 days.
Mrs. B just threw something at us. Whoa!
I gave you something to think about.
Let me
For all of us.
Let me insert. This
Go
movie
ahead.
was all in black and white.
It's all in black and white.
It's black and white,
Wow.
and it made it even more stunning. Go ahead.
So
I'm sorry.
imagine in the future if they put this in Technicolor.
Never
Wow.
knew. Yeah.
That would be amazing. But I'll continue to go on. 7 Days in May. It happens with startling swiftness, the synopsis, as I quoted, and violence. An armed cadre seizes state control. Fortunately, a coup d'etat can happen here, or can it? A classic suspense directed by John Frankenheimer, the Manchurian Candidate. And he did also Ronin, the movie Ronin.
Ooh.
And written for the screen by Rod Serling of Twilight Zone.
Oh, yes, my boy, Rod Serling.
Oh, wow. 7 Days in May tautly explores that possibility. At odds are popular General and Joint Chiefs of Staff, Chairman Burt Lancaster character, and an unpopular President, Frederick March, with a pacifist agenda. At stake in the survival of the Republic, a vigilant colonial colonel, Kirk Douglas, uncovers the scheme.
That was scary.
But are the 7 fateful days ahead enough time to derail a takeover? Is it enough days to derail a takeover? Wow, this is kind of amazing. The clock is ticking. Includes commentary by director John Frankenheimer, produced by Edward Lewis, a Warner Brothers distribution film archives collection gold link. And it's also 7 Arts Production, Joel Productions, as well as the Frankenheimer and Joel Productions. The main characters, as we were talking about earlier with Dr. B, is Joint Chiefs of Staff. There's Kirk Douglas, Frederick March, and Ava Gardner. Ava Gardner plays Eleanor Holbrook. She does an amazing job. And co-starring Edmund O'Brien and Martin Balsam, music by Jerry Goldsmith, and screenplay by Rod Serling.
There you go.
So I want to get my notes correct.
There you go.
Based on a novel by Fletcher Knevel and Charles W. Bailey II.
There you go.
So now I will talk a little bit. Now, from my point of view, as I read the notes in the movie and as I wrote the notes, it did collide with the meeting as they were with the January 6th hearings. And I'll begin to just stick to the film at this point. When the film began, well, you have to see it. And when the film began, it started with making decisions in the White House, the Oval Office. It started with the Burt Lancaster character, Joint Chiefs of Staff, wanting to seize power and run for the presidency. And he had this ideology and belief that he didn't agree with any of what the policies that the current president in office had enacted. And so he was aiming to change that. But he did so behind his back. I'm not going to give all the details, but I'll give you some insight on what I think about it. And I wrote a little bit about the discussion. The film parallels as well as the ethics and code of conduct of political ideology, forms different realities, truth, honesty, and how decisions are formed and decided by values, ethical choices, and deep-rooted moral conscience, including intellectual reasoning, rationalization, consequences of those choices and decisions. No human is ever perfect, and to be human, we have flaws. We find out by immediate response what the heart and soul and conscience is really made of, and how the fallout affects the country or saves the country. Ideology, moral values, separation of church and state. The film has it all. And the dilemmas of the past, present, and hopefully, in this case, not the future of a Utah
There you go.
or another insurrection. We would not want that. But the film is amazing. Go buy it and stream it and see it.
There you go. Woo!
So that
Now
is
just tell
7 days.
that was the plot. Outstanding, Mrs. B. Outstanding. It was intense, and I never seen I actually saw the movie years ago, but again, tell us about Ava Gardner's role in this.
Ava.
She came in.
She was the key person. She was one of the key persons that had the evidence.
The evidence
on
of
the
what?
Joint Chiefs of Staff.
Okay.
Now we don't want to get
And what was
away.
what was the?
She had some information about him that the president, that the Colonel Kirk Douglas character, collected from her. But she says, you men of power in Washington, you want to play those games. But I can see that I hold the key to this. Whether it took down the Joint Chief of Staff's reach for power, grab for power, or did he make the decision, the president, to keep the information or use it against the Joint Chiefs of Staffs who wanted to take the place by immediate means of the office of the United States President?
Okay.
You got to see that to find out.
There you go. Ooh. Now I just thought. Let me just say this. I thought when Ava Gardner came on the scene, she was fantastic.
Find out.
And then Kirk Douglas was there. He had to kind of swoon her, didn't he? He was like going to romance her. He was like, come on, I need to get this information and let's go out. Let's have some fun together.
Yes, he did. And she came up to him and he says, you are a beauty. You don't need to worry about being upset, bitter, or anything else. He says, you are still beautiful. And she was Eleanor Woodward. And she had that classic beauty, which is also the same type of portrait of pose on the side of the museum at the Ava Gardner Museum. So you need to go see it.
And what year was this? This was 1960. What was it? What year was this?
This film.
Because she was more mature in the movie.
She was more mature in the movie. I mean, we have the movie right here.
Yeah.
But we can see that on.
It was mid 1960s.
Midnight, yeah.
And so again, the reason why I bring this up, reason why I bring this up is that you can see how she aged beautifully.
Oh,
that's one thing.
Wow.
Through the decades, when you see her age, she aged so beautifully and started out such a young age in Hollywood, in her 20s and 30s, and yet this was in the film made in the 1960s. She was very mature. She just still had such elegance in this role.
Yes, she did. She did. So I'll check the date out for you. But they can look it up and find out the date on that particular one.
But again, it was
that time.
I just love the way they matched her up with Kirk Douglas and Burt Lancaster. I mean, she was just the ideal.
We'll find out for you.
She was just the ideal character in this role.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
She was the ideal character in the role.
Yeah.
But you can find all of that, the dates on the bio, on the back of the films when you pick it up, and also when you go research for the bio. So we do have that information. So we have a lot of movies reviews to get to, but this is one of them, and so we'll go on to the next one. So let's start with the next one.
Very much so. Next movie.
Next movie. Ava Gardner stars in the film The Bible.
Oh, sorry.
Director John Huston. So let me show you the next film, The Bible.
I'll hold it up for you.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
Go right ahead.
So now let's get on to the next movie. So we got another one to do after this one. Then we got to get to the next
Go
film.
right ahead.
All right. So The Bible. So let's talk about that. All right. The Bible, directed by John Huston, one of the masterminds of filmmaking and innovation in film. 20th Century Fox presents Dino De Laurentiis production, The Bible, in the beginning. Now this is the version of John Huston and Dino De Laurentiis.
Let me just say, when they put saw this, it was the Bible, and John Huston was the voice of God.
The voice of God.
If you know anything about John Huston, he was the voice of God. He was the director. He did everything, and they started from the very beginning. I mean, real. And let me just say, the context of this when it was made was very much appropriate. But when I just saw it, I said, "Oh my gosh, they're starting at the very beginning of time."
The very beginning of time.
So be prepared.
I guess that predates any date.
Be prepared. The very beginning of time. So go right ahead.
There you go. So let's get on to it, shall we? Let's get on to it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the screenplay is by Christopher Fry, produced by, again, Dino De Laurentiis, directed by John Huston, as I said earlier. Musical score by Toshiro Mayuzumi. Love that. I like saying that name. Cast in order of appearance. I'll briefly go through that. That's Michael Parks, Ulla Bergard, Richard Harris, I should say Bergard, Richard Harris, John Huston, Stephen Boyd, George C. Scott, who played wonderful roles in Patton, by the way.
George C. Scott. Formerly of Patton.
It was a tough.
Ooh. George C. Scott.
Well, and then of course Ava Gardner.
Yeah.
Ava Gardner, Peter O'Toole, Zoe Salas, Gabrielle Verzetti, and Eleanor Rossi Drago. All right, and then let's get to the synopsis.
Yes.
The cinematic triumph on the Blu-ray for the first time truly is the greatest story ever told. The Bible's epic, scope, and mythic power come to life under the helm of Academy Award-winning director John Huston. And a cast for the ages. So see, dates and timeless. I'm just kidding. I'll make sure. That's funny. And predates the Bible. I don't think you can do much better than that.
Oh, wow.
There you go. From the awe-inspiring creation of man, to the remarkable story of Noah's Ark, to the mind-blowing destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah. It's just wonderful. So that is part of the Blu-ray bio. Mention the brilliance. I just want to mention the brilliance of George C. Scott in Patton. So I just want to mention that. Okay. So anyway, I had to say that. I mean, it was really. Just see George C. Scott playing different roles.
It was a stretch for me. It was a stretch for me to see George Scott Patton be very philosophical and religious and all of that. It was just like, whoa, it was a stretch for me. I'm sorry.
Why we just kind of bring this
and Ava Gardner's role in the movie. Come on, tell them about.
Yeah, I think this is about Ava Gardner, but I just thought that the actors that. And here's why I want to bring this up.
Okay.
The actors that Ava Gardner played with.
Yes.
And starring roles and acting roles were really amazing.
Oh yeah.
She had a cadre of roles that she played as co-star.
Yeah. And
co-starring and feature roles, and as the major star. Wow, I mean, how can you get better than that?
Yeah, that's true.
She did an excellent job. So let me get on to what John Huston, what a wonderful director. Director John Huston does just a masterful job of combining his direction and as an actor, shifting between understanding the perspective of the scene and immersing himself in the character in seamless connectivity to the film itself. The film begins with booming voice of God, beginning of earth, to Adam and Eve, and into the biblical history timeline, with a focal point on Noah's Ark in particular, that I've discussed with Dr. B when we were viewing the film. And so I thought that was amazing. So it has I just wonder about the pictorial. When I talk about films about the Bible, and then in terms of the inclusion of pictorial images, during that time, each director has their own view about what the Bible is and what the actors are cast as in pictorial roles. So the recent movies that they've done of the Bible's past or present began to show the roles of the image of what the actor, producer, and director sees. John Huston is masterful. So now you fast forward today and you see the inclusion of different characters.
Images change over time.
Images change
That's
over
what you
time.
think. Yes.
And with the science and the archaeology and the religious scholars of it. So I'm appreciative, and I love the film, and Ava did such a wonderful job in the film. And then
what was her role? What was her role?
But the meaning and the purpose and the holy spirituality of it was absolutely masterful and wonderful. So I just want to say that.
There you go.
All right, so you go ahead, and I won't go into all the other details.
No,
we got to get into the next film series. So I wanted to present today the inclusion to keep only to go see the film and see all in its entirety, and just the roles of with playing against the role of her counterpart.
Yes.
And then have the flock. Go right ahead.
Yeah. No, I would just say keep it in its proper context of when it was made, and that's where I kind of
still timeless. Still timeless. Go right ahead, Dr. B.
You said go ahead. But again, I just kept it in the proper context of when it was made and viewed it in that perspective. Now, Mrs. B, what's the next film? We give it a thumbs up, of course. You give the Bible a thumbs up.
First of all, 7 days in May.
Thumbs up. Thumbs up.
Of course. And the
Bible. Thumbs up.
Thumbs up for the Bible, of course.
Okay, now let's go on to the third movie because we have to get to...
Yes. And let's get to Pandora and the Flying Dutchman.
There you go.
Okay. So the next film on that particular film is, I want to show you this one. Pandora and the Flying Dutchman.
There you go.
Oh, that was wonderful. I really enjoyed that one. I really did.
Featuring Ava Gardner and
did.
James Mason.
And James Mason. James Mason. We love saying James Mason.
Go right ahead, Mrs. B.
All right.
Go.
All right, go. Let's get going.
Let's go.
All right. Pandora and the Flying Dutchman. Hey, slow down. I'm going to get there.
I know you are. I just want to make sure we cover all our...
He's excited because he wants to get to Mel Brooks.
No, I want to make sure that we cover everything within the time frame that we have. Within the time frame that we have.
All right, let's go.
So go ahead.
All right, Pandora, thank you. Pandora and the Flying Dutchman, starring James Mason and Ava Gardner. Synopsis: Albert Lewin's adaptation of The Flying Dutchman legend transposes the story into an upper-class English-speaking community in a small port in 1930s Spain. James Mason stars as Hendrik van der Zee, a man cursed to travel the 7 seas until he can find a woman willing to die for his love. Oh, how romantic, I think. He certainly does not think he has discovered her when he meets beautiful, spoiled, and nightclub singer and femme fatale Pandora Reynolds as Ava Gardner, who is engaged to be married to racing driver Stephen Cameron, played by Nigel Patrick, but also being courted by hot-headed bullfighter Juan Montalvo as Mario Kerr. However, the pair soon discover that love can blossom in the unlikeliest places. And so we will now discuss what I consider suspense, love, betrayal, adrenaline, denial, immortal love, sands of time in a timeless love story. Although I can't say what happened at the end.
Don't say what's happening.
Don't say what happened at the end. So I just want to say it was really wonderful. And
what a journey.
Resource, what a journey. And I'll talk some more about the Pandora, the Flying Dutchman. But I also want to mention There's also the bookshop that, as I spoke earlier about, as well as there is an Ava Gardner's Festival in October. And it's posted
at the
on
museum.
Facebook at the museum. So you do want to go
in
visit.
Smithville.
It's in October in Smithville, North Carolina. But the film, the James Mason, it was wonderful. The scene as they come in, the clothing, the dramatics, her beauty shines. It's elegant, it's simple. She doesn't have a whole lot of, it's surprising. Ava Gardner doesn't wear a lot of makeup.
She was stunning. Let me just say, she was stunning.
Gorgeous.
And just gorgeous in her different outfits, and just
Her
way
clothes,
James
her
Mason just
couture,
melted
her natural
when she was on
beauty.
scene. Wow.
Her eyes sparkle, they shine. You should see how effortless she is. She had a southern accent when they discovered it. It was so thick they couldn't understand her until she began to get voice lessons. But every scene in every movie was absolutely darling and wonderful. And the way that she held her own against stars, major stars, actresses and actors alike, was absolutely stunning. Her beauty is timeless.
Timeless.
I just strongly suggest that you visit the Ava Gardner Museum.
There you go.
And I just want to bring up 2 other films that you should look at that we may discuss a little bit later. And it's a thumbs up for The Flying Dutchman 2 as well. And you want to see Marilyn. Ava Gardner stars in this film with, there's also Catherine Deneuve and Omar Sharif. And also you want to see The Barefoot Contessa. So these are 2 films that you want to see as well. So thank you. And I will go ahead and hand it off to you, Dr. B.
Are you done, Mrs. B? No, well, that was a great review. Great review.
Well, you know,
and I just want
to be real about it.
Thank you, Mrs. B.
And
now that was our first part of the tribute to Ava Gardner. Now let's get to comedy, and I'm going to feature Mel Brooks. That's right, my boy Mel Brooks, who is in his 90s now, and I'm going to tell you that give a quick bio and highlight 2 of his films, of which we see reviewed just a few weeks ago. Yes, Mel Brooks. Here we go. Mel Brooks, original name Melvin Kaminsky. He was born June 28, 1926 in Brooklyn, New York. Is an American film and television director, producer, writer, and an actor whose motion pictures elevated outrageousness and vulgarity to high comic art. Yeah, high comic art. In 1944, after serving as a combat engineer in the U.S. Army in Europe during World War II, Mel Brooks became a professional entertainer, working as a stand-up comedian and an MC at various nightclubs. Eventually, Mel Brooks teamed up with well-known writers such as Carl Reiner, Neil Simon, and Larry Gelbart on various TV shows during the 1960s. In 1968, his feature film debut, The Producers, was a hit, and he won an Academy Award for Best Screenplay. Yeah, won an Academy Award, yeah. He later wrote, directed, and acted in several of his movies, such as, this is not all of them, such as Blazing Saddles. Here we go, Blazing Saddles. I'll go over Blazing Saddles. Young Frankenstein. Silent Movie, High Anxiety, History of the World, Part 1, and Spaceballs, and many others. So that's a quick bio on Mel Brooks. Now I'm going to get to, guess what, Mrs. B and I, we looked at two of his movies, really 4, I watched all of his movies, but let's get to, what did you think about Blazing Saddles? This is featuring my boy Cleavon Little and several other great stars along with it. Madeline Kahn, also so many other stars. What did you think about this movie, Mrs. B? Now let me just say, Mel Brooks, when this movie came out, now I'm going to tell you, I'll cut you off, but let me just say, these movies, you have to keep them in the proper context. This movie came out in 1974, and let me just say, the language is very much in your face, and it was the language of the time. So when you review this, I'm prefacing this, Mrs. B, keep it in its proper context of what the comedy was about during the 70s. Okay. So once we saw Blazing Saddles, again, Mrs. B, what did you think about it?
Well, you know, Blazing Saddles is a classic. It's funny. I loved it. I've been watching it for years. And as a family, we've been watching it for years. Blazing Saddles is fantastic, and we love it. I'm going to tell you, give you a thumbs up right away from the beginning.
Thumbs up, thumbs up.
Mel Brooks, you're a genius.
And Gene Wilder starred in it as well.
Oh, wow. Gene Wilder.
Madeline Kahn. Oh, my gosh.
Comic, extraordinaire. And Madeline Kahn, what can you say? Every movie she plays in, even if it's the same characters or cast from movie to movie, she still keeps it new and fresh from movie to movie. We love that. And Cleavon, it was just so fun.
Let me just say,
he played off of the stereotypes as being comical, but also addressed them as a serious point.
Thank you, Mrs. B. So one of the things about the comedy, it was truly straightforward comedy shtick.
Yes.
And it was hilarious, but it was the comedy that you have to get used to because it's right in your face and he's not going to hide it. And I found out once we review it, he had several writers in this movie. And matter of fact, Mel Brooks, he played the governor in the show. One of the writers was Richard Pryor. One of the writers was Richard Pryor. And so that's how.
I didn't see that part. I didn't see
Yes. Hold on, Mrs. B. That's the reason why I can tell the writing for Cleavon Little, the African American, in the movie, the lead, where it got its context and the jokes. It really came from my boy Richard Pryor. And Cleavon Little broke all stereotypes of a Western movie. Broke all stereotypes, as well as Gene Wilder, his deputy in the movie. So it was straightforward comedy to the T. I mean, you just have to love the spoof that they did on several things. And let me just say, Madeline Kahn actually received a nomination award for her musical routine in the movie, for her music and her song in the movie. And let me just say, Harvey Korman did a great job, Slim Pickens, and they played off the Western very well and then presented it, brought it in present day time, and it ended up actually in the movie theater when they went off the movie set. That's the shtick that Mel Brooks gives you. He tries to bring you into the storyline, the time, but he's gonna change things up, and he's gonna make you feel a bit uncomfortable, but he says, so what? Here's the comedy. It's in your face. So I was in high school when I actually saw this movie in the movie theaters and just loved it. 1974. Wow. Blazing Saddles just took off to another level of Mel Brooks' career as a director and an actor. And then he followed up that movie with Young Frankenstein. He actually did this movie in all black and white, and Gene Wilder, taking the lead, actually wrote the movie with Mel Brooks.
Wow.
And Mel Brooks was Mrs. B. Mel Brooks was the director, and they said they're doing a spoof off of all the Frankenstein movies during the 40s and 50s.
Yes.
So he said, I want Gene Wilder to be the lead, to be the new Frankenstein doctor.
But I want to digress for a quick minute. Before you go right on to Young Frankenstein, which is absolutely wonderful, and Blazing Saddles, Alex Karras, we cannot forget him. He played Mongo, and he was pretty funny.
Mongo loves the sheriff. Mongo loves the sheriff.
And then
boom!
And then so Alex Karras, he did his job on that, and that's when he was breaking in the movie along with Rosie Greer, and they are the NFL Detroit Lions. But Alex Karras played football with Dig Night Train Lane, which was my supervisor. For
There you go. There you go. Now,
so
Mrs. B.
That up and give kudos
Okay,
for that.
Mrs. B.
So there you
let's
go.
stay
I had
on
to go
script.
there.
There you go. See, let me get through my portion, Mrs. B.
Young
See,
Frankenstein.
see, this is what happens. I give Mrs. B all the time, and then here we go.
What?
Come on, let me finish. Come on, Mrs. B. Let me get, because we're running very, very short of time.
All right.
Please, Mrs. B. Please.
We'll do so.
Yeah.
Dr. B, we'll do so.
So, again, I gave a thumbs up for Blazing Saddles beyond capacity. And I want to make sure I spend quality time on Young Frankenstein, of which, Mel Brooks directed the movie with a surprising cast of Marty Feldman. Cloris Leachman did a fantastic role. She was fantastic. Terry Garr was in the movie, Madeline Kahn, and a surprise appearance by Gene Hackman. Gene Hackman starred in the movie as well. A great black and white gothic design Frankenstein movie, a spoof off of all the Frankenstein movies. And you just gotta see it. It was just fantastic how Gene Wilder took his acting ability up to a completely another level. So Young Frankenstein came out in 1974 too. So there was two big hit movies by Mel Brooks during that year. So he is catapulted to another level in the movie in Hollywood, recognizing himself not just as a director, but an actor, a writer, and a screenplay writer as well. So that's the reason why. And then let me just tell you the reason why we're running very short on time. I wanted to feature Mel Brooks in this two-part because he brings his Jewish humor, his background, his history in your face and presents it and addresses all the stereotypes, the discrimination, the racism, everything.
Absolutely.
Everything, and he turns it around and makes us laugh at ourselves.
Exactly.
It's okay to laugh at ourselves and others at times in the proper context. It's how you approach it, and that's the reason why I appreciate Mel Brooks. And let me just say, Mel Brooks is still making movies, and we're going to feature him again in the next episode, but I just want to give you the reason why I really support Mel Brooks. He brings his culture, his history, and makes fun of everyone in the proper context. And like I said, with our show, Mrs. B, it's all about having fun, entertainment, relaxing yourself, and really enjoy life. So I enjoy So I really enjoy the shtick that Mel Brooks brings to I had to say that Mel Brooks brings to his humor. So I give Mel Brooks those two films a big thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
There you go. So with that said, Mrs. B, we're running a bit short of time. Now we want to make sure we have time for the movie inserts. And I want to make sure I get enough of the movie inserts. We have going a little bit really off script here. And want to make sure that I feature. Going off script because we're really running short of time. We're at the end of summertime, Mrs. B, and let me just say, here are some great movies through the summer that has really taken off. We saw the trailer of Thor. Remember that? We saw the trailer, and that was the #1 movie featuring Natalie Portman and Chris Hemsworth. That was a great movie. It was #1 in the box office for several weeks, so we give a thumbs up to Thor. We also give there was the movie that just came out. Let me just say, the Minions, The Rise of Gru was #1. Didn't see it, but everyone laughed in the movie theater, Mrs. B. You know that.
I'm not a fan of the Minions.
Yeah, but it was #1, and it's still blowing up at the box office. So again, it's a family movie.
That's nice.
So we like family movies. But it was it's gonna do its thing. And then let me give a quick surprise. #1 movie called Nope by Jordan Peele. Jordan Peele, the director, African-American gentleman, was #1 at the box office, featuring Keke Palmer. Kiki Palmer, and I'm showing you a video of Kiki Palmer as a kid in Achille and the Bee. Achille and we watched this in 2006 when this came out, Mrs. B. Yes. And this is Kiki Palmer with Angela Bassett and as well as was it Lawrence Fishburne. Great movie, and it's nice to see Kiki Palmer mature to what she's doing now, and she's a #1 box office hit with Jordan Peele. So that was fantastic. Also, let me just say very quickly, with Netflix series, like I said, Netflix has Squid 2 coming out. We want to give a little plug for Netflix. Netflix got Squid.
We still liking Netflix.
Squid 2 coming out. Yes, we do. As well as, let me just say, we saw the trailer of The Rock in Black Adam. What did you think about Dwayne Johnson as Black Adam, which is coming out this fall?
I thought that kind of surprised me a bit, and it kind of took me back, but I thought it was timely and needed. And I thought to myself, wow, that's challenging and breaking barriers and breaking stereotypes. So we were talking earlier about pictorial of what Adam is and what the Bible is, and then how people perceive the Bible in the metaverse, in digital 2022, and AI intelligence, as well as changing the narrative to different perspectives. So that was surprising.
Yeah, that was surprising. And so I would have to say, The Rock was a superhero guy, and to me, it was still Dwayne Johnson as a superhero guy. It was good. It was good. And then finally, what's coming out this fall? I just want to give a quick shout out. This weekend's coming out, Bullet Train with Brad Pitt. We haven't seen that. We saw the trailer. It's okay. But I want to give a quick shout out. Coming out this fall, Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever. And Wakanda Forever. And let me just show you the Black Panther 1 featuring Chadwick Boseman. Now, let me just say, they just premiered the trailer. And I'm just going to give because Chadwick, he passed away, unfortunately. But when I saw the reception, this came out at Comic-Con just a few weeks ago. They premiered the trailer, and all the actors, the director was there, and people were in tears because what the actors, and to do this Black Panther #2 featuring Angela Bassett and Martin Freeman and all the great actors, I'm predicting Martin Freeman of the Lord of the Rings.
Different from Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, it's Martin Freeman. Those of you who follow Lord of the Rings know it's Bilbo Baggins. He actually stars in movies. Yeah, so Martin Freeman.
In this house.
So let me just say very quickly,
journey.
I'm predicting.
What about second breakfast?
I'm predicting Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever, a cultural explosion. You have to. I'm predicting you getting it first right here in August on what's happening. What I saw with the trailer just blew me away, Mrs. B. And I'm just going to predict already that Black Panther 2, when it comes out in November, it's coming out in November during the holidays, I'm predicting Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever, will be a mega hit and a cultural explosion. There you go. That was my movie inserts. That's my special features, Mrs. B. I wanted to get that in. We're a little bit long, but I wanted to get that in. So let's wrap this up. We did a special tribute to Ava Gardner and Mel Brooks. This is part 1 of that tribute. Wow, that was a lot, Mrs. B.
It was a lot. We packed it in, and we wanted you to have the full measure of all the films and what the people are about, what the actors, the artists are about, and what you can get out of it in terms of entertainment, edutainment, and enjoyment and relaxation and fun for your family, friends, colleagues, and whatever you do. Just enjoy your life.
There you go. Thank you, Mrs. B. And then you had some special inserts of our predictions of the movies and the movies that are out, the blockbuster movies that are out this summer and coming out this fall. So with that said, Mrs. B, wow, let's prepare for next. We're going to have episode number 3 coming out in another month or so as well. So we're just hanging in there. And let me just say, please, on all our platforms, please like and subscribe our features, our episodes, because we really depend upon the feedback.
We depend upon the feedback, but positive feedback and constructive criticism.
So please
ask no hate and no
like and subscribe,
like that.
because we're just trying to present this entertainment in such a lighthearted, fun, also investigative way, fun way. Yes, because we're investigating the background. We're investigating the scene. We're investigating the art. We're investigating the philosophy of all these movies.
The intellectual capability.
Yes. So there you go. So with that said, Mrs. B, I am Dr. B.
And I'm Mrs. B.
I'm an anthropologist.
And I'm an independent artist scholar.
There you go.
Thank you.
And where's your glasses? You brought in new glasses. Show your new glasses, Mrs. B.
Well, I usually have the floral flowers.
Please.
But for Ava, I wanted to put on the cap.
There you go.
And there you go.
And with that,
thank you, Dr. B. You're always patient. We're patient with each other.
We gotta be patient. 33 years.
33 years.
Oh, we got through it.
Oh, we got through it.
Thank you, everyone.
And we're still here. Thank you.
Peace out, everybody.
Peace in.
We out.